Startups are really hard, and they fail at an incredible rate. Why is that? Well, it's because on everything you do in a startup, you can err in both directions. This is not a new idea. Aristotle first came up with this idea. When Aristotle defined virtues, he defined them as the golden mean between two extremes. Courage is the mean between cowardice on one end and recklessness on the other. Golden mean applies to startups. Let's take hiring. You can definitely hire too fast, too aggressively, build up your spend way faster than you have money in the bank and put yourself in a corner. But you can also hire too slowly. Our portfolio company Coinbase, for example, grew quite rapidly but didn't hire anybody in customer support. And then people who had problems with the service were really frustrated because they couldn't get an answer. Take listening to your customers. On one extreme, you don't listen to customers at all. Customers are having problems, they're having issues, you just ignore it. You sort of say, oh, they're just not smart enough to use my product, so you never fix them. Can you err by listening too much to customers? Absolutely. There'll be lots of customers who have edge needs, corner cases, and they will have feature requests. And if you keep adding all those features to your product, you will create a product that meets all the crazy edge cases, but is actually impossible to use for the normal user. So yes, it is possible to not listen enough to customers, and it is possible to listen too much to customers. Once you're out raising money, again, you can err on both sides. You can raise not enough money, so you can't actually get to the next big milestone in your company, to the next value inflection point. But it is also possible to raise too much money. Many companies that have raised too much money then wind up starting too many efforts all at once, or overcomplicating their product, or taking their burn rate up, and thus making the problem that they have to solve that much larger. So fundraising too, you can err on both sides. Another place where you can err on both sides is the idea stage. You can err on the side where you take the very first idea that pops into your mind and just run for it, skipping the validation stage, skipping any stage of saying, is this a real need? But you can also err on the side of always thinking there will be a better idea. I'll come up with something even better, even bigger. And then you will never actually launch anything. As it turns out, a lot of people get stuck on that second thing. They sort of want to hone the idea at the idea stage, never getting to that minimum viable product. So if you take one thing away from today, is do spend some time thinking about the idea, think about why this is a real need, how you came up with it, but then move quite quickly to validation, and from validation quite quickly to minimum viable product. That gets you way ahead of most people who talk about starting a startup, but never actually start their startup.